This is the Love Island villa. You're in a house full of all your mates, and getting involved in people's business is actually just a part of the game.
I'm not being funny, but Love Island would be pretty fucking boring if no one got
Right?
involved in anyone's business. Like, we won't be watching anything. It'd just be a bunch of couples
Yeah.
not saying anything.
Good morning and welcome to Love Island the morning after. Once again, we are here to dissect all the drama from last night's episode. I'm Amy Hart.
And I'm Indiyah Polack, and back again today we have the lovely Alex Bowen.
Thank you.
How are you, Alex?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm good. It's good to be back.
Last night we had our first All-Stars dumping. Were you expecting that?
No, I was so shocked. I literally thought, like, no way in hell that Charlie was going to be going.
Yeah.
100% no.
I was really shocked as well.
Yeah.
I thought it would be AJ and Connor,
Yeah.
as I said yesterday, and I was wrong.
Well, expect the unexpected.
Right. I think we need to talk about it in full.
Yeah.
When Maya came in, she announced the favourite boy and the favourite girl as Millie and Scott. Were we surprised at that? I don't think I was.
No, I'd say Millie and Scott, to be fair.
Yeah.
They're both pretty strong characters and they've done mostly the right thing, especially Millie, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree. Like, both popular, both got the right amount of drama,
Mm-hmm.
and they've both given us a lot of, good TV to watch. So yeah, I'm not shocked by it.
Scott's been doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Heavy lifting, doing the Lord's work, putting people in their
Yeah.
place.
Yeah. I mean, it could have gone either way for Scott. Some people could have took it. He was getting
Yeah,
people's
bit
like
too
drama
much.
too much, but obviously people have took it the right way. So
And you guys have been loving Scott as well. All of our comments
Yeah.
are loving Scott getting involved, taking down Charlie.
Yeah, I feel like the viewers probably feel like, is this the right term? Like, is Scott been avenged or has Charlie been avenged?
Scott's been avenged.
Scott's been avenged because now Charlie is gone and everyone is happy about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it works out.
if it wasn't down to the Islanders to choose, do you think Charlie was the bottom?
Do you know what?
It's all about Love Island. As we always say,
Yeah.
it's all about timing. And that vote came like just as he was, messing Millie around, potentially messing Jess around, arguing with Scott.
It's very in the middle because I thought it was potentially going to be Connor just because it still is a love show. And out of everybody, I'd say his situation with Whitney isn't really that solidified. And, Whitney is definitely leaning towards more Jack. And I feel like as much as Charlie was doing his due, it was still drama and it was still like a form of good television.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he said, he had like the smallest little thought in his mind to Maya. He was like, "Oh, I might be going here. You might pick me." He did not think that at all.
Yeah, he didn't.
He thought he was safe as anything.
Yeah,
100%.
definitely.
So the bottom three boys were Connor, Sean and Charlie, and the bottom three girls were Whitney, Jess and AJ. And it was up to Millie and Scott to dump them, Millie dumping the boys, Scott dumping the girls. Do you think Scott should have dumped AJ, or do you think he should have gone for Jess because she didn't have a romantic situation?
It's a tough one. Like AJ was saying, it could be seen as a cop-out because I guess Scott was doing more on a friendship vibe. Yes, AJ and Shaq weren't strong, but he is closer to Jess and he's hardly going to send his friend home.
No.
I think it was a cop-out, 100%. But at the end of the day, we've all been in there. Like, when you make your friends in there, you've got friends that you knew before, you're not going to vote them off.
Yeah.
Like, because you won't be able to live with yourself. So
Yeah.
It's like OG privilege, isn't it?
OG privilege.
Day one privilege.
And if we actually look at the facts of it all, let's say that Scott did dump Jess, would that really benefit AJ? Because as we saw in last night's episode, it does look like, Shaq is slowly moving on towards Belle and even like,
that's true.
Helena. Would they've even become a thing?
No. Let's talk about the bottom three. Were you shocked that Jess was in the bottom? Because our sort of rationale for why Charlie was going for Millie and Jess was, two winners, two really popular. Obviously, Millie voted most popular. Jess in the bottom three. With Whitney as well, I was really shocked.
I was really surprised, but in the weirdest way, I wasn't surprised because like we were saying, 2 nights ago when that whole situation happened between Jess and Millie and we were unsure when Whitney was saying to her, look, if that was my friend, I wouldn't have it. We weren't sure if Whitney's energy was directed towards Jess or if it was towards Charlie. But now that fallout is showing that maybe a lot of people were also on Whitney's side and thinking, maybe Jess, you weren't really being a good friend towards Millie.
I think like Jess being in the bottom three as well, like she was in the situation with Millie and Charlie.
Yeah.
But she wasn't like innocent in it all.
And she wasn't very remorseful.
Flirting a lot and but then in like the second instance she'd be saying, "Oh, Millie's my friend," and that as well. Like so it's difficult. I don't know.
It's not vote to dump, it's vote for your favourite. The fact that Islanders like Leanne and Sammy, who we've seen less of and haven't really done much, got more votes than Jess, who's been like a big player within the sort of like situations that have happened the last few days. and also is an ex-winner, and also has a big loyal fan base, is mad.
It is mad, but you know what? Maybe not all drama is good drama.
No.
You know, just because you're making noise, it doesn't mean we actually want to see it or we agree with it.
And also, they might want to give Sammy a chance to find love this time. You know
definitely.
what I mean? So
Yeah, and look, Leanne and Scott are going strong.
I know, yeah. And then the boys, were we surprised with those three?
not really. No, I feel like that was the perfect three.
Yeah.
Like I am shocked. Obviously, it was a massive shock anyway. But
Yeah.
I feel like Connor could have probably gone as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he's not. I don't know. I feel like he's a nice boy. I just don't think he's a Love Island type boy. If that makes sense.
Yeah, he's not for the drama.
No.
Yeah, and like when he's talking, he's just like a really happy, bouncy person. But he's not like flirty, and he's like really confident in the way that he says stuff. Do you know what I mean?
When he came on the podcast with his last series, we found out that he's a sapiosexual, isn't it? And he has to be attracted to someone's mind. And I feel like nobody's really given him enough time to like sit and have a chat with him for him to be really attracted to someone.
But you know, like
That is actually mad.
I don't like love that. I think being a
Yeah.
sapiosexual, any kind of sexual is great.
Yeah.
But I think being on Love Island.
Yeah, you're on the wrong show.
He didn't say that.
Oh.
It was Jackie Adedeji.
Oh, just maybe saying this is what you are.
Yeah, because
Oh,
he kept
oh,
saying
okay.
for him, like, he doesn't have a type.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
has to be attracted to someone's
Which
mind.
is what that is.
And she was like, you are a sapiosexual.
Gotcha. Because
That
I
is
was saying,
crazy.
like, being a sapiosexual and everyone's first impressions is like you in a bikini.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of just sort of like, that's not a sapiosexual vibe, you know? I feel like,
But then if a guy came in and was like, I'm not interested in talking to anyone,
Yeah.
all I want is what they look like, we'd all be like, what a pig.
Yeah, that's also probably 90% of men.
Disgusting.
like, honestly, like, when we first walk in there, we're walking in there in bikinis. Like, obviously, we get to know each other. But it's
Yeah.
a very, like, first impressions based show.
Yeah.
So I guess it's impressions and then personality afterwards. But
6 weeks of all-stars romance, iconic pairings, unforgettable moments, and standout pre-love fashion is almost near. With our newest cast now revealed, it's only right to pay homage to the eBay pre-love looks that have shaped Villa fashion history so far. From Gabby and Elma's Wonder Doll Heidi Coord in Love Island All-Stars Series 2 to Liberty's instantly recognisable John Paul Gaultier two-piece, pre-love fashion has always played a starring role. These are pieces with lore, personality and individuality, worn in ways that feel uniquely Islanders. Ekin Su elevated her date night look with an authenticity guaranteed Prada bag, while brands like I Am Gaia continued to dominate, with Islanders such as Georgia and Helena adding their own spin. It's not just the girls either. The boys are also bringing elite pre-love sneakers plus authenticity guaranteed bags, loafers and accessories into the Villa this season too. All thanks to eBay, sponsors of Love Island All-Stars. Now, in a Love Island first, Millie dumped the person that she was coupled up with. And it wasn't like a group decision. It was literally just on her to pick. And she picked Charlie. Do you think she was like, this is my ticket out and this could be my only ticket out?
yeah.
He's messed her about already. Like, so there's been a few red flags that she hasn't liked. She literally was there with the power and was like, do you know what? I see that you may ruin my experience. Goodbye.
Yeah, I think it was a mixture of things. That what you just said, and also this could be a massive Love Island moment, and I
Yeah.
want to create
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
moment. So that's what I think it
100%.
was.
Yeah, I think it was great. I think it was very savage from Millie, but also, you know, sometimes you got to take the signs.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like she was feeling a way about Charlie from the night before. Like she actually slept on it, she woke up and she actually feeling quite put off. So for him being in that bottom and then her having the power, that was probably her thinking, hey, I'm getting a sign here. He's got to go.
Yeah. Fuck around and find out.
Fuck around and find out. Fuck around and find out.
The thing is, though, like I would love to know what was going through her mind at that point.
Yeah.
Like, was she like, "Am I going to do this now? Shall I just do it? Shall I just do it?"
It
Or shall I
probably
take the
was.
safe option and like vote Connor out?
Because again, I think her voting Connor out would have been a really safe option.
Yeah.
But if you know deep down that you don't really want anything with Charlie and you don't like how he's treated you and you just think it's going to get really messy, really and truly, how would it have benefited Millie to keep Charlie in the house?
Yeah, no, I think it was 100% the
You
best
know?
decision. I
Yeah.
just still think
was
it's a shocking
savage.
decision.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
I was screaming, telling
Yeah.
you it was all.
It's really interesting when these like sort of bottom three votes come out because you often see a bit of like couple shifting in the next few days and
Yeah.
people suddenly realise that maybe they didn't have the connection that they
Yeah.
thought they did.
Or
Uh,
did.
Yeah.
Mm.
Do you think that is something that people think about? I'd love to say it's not because I love love and I love a fairy tale, but I feel like some people do think this is a game show and there's a cash prize at the end.
No,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, people forget it is a game show. Like, we'd
Yeah.
all like to believe this fairy tale, like, oh, everyone goes on there for love. Like, I think in the first couple of episodes, they kept talking about, oh, your game plan. You're all on there like for the second or third time, you're all game playing because you've gone back on.
Yeah.
Like,
I always say
if you find love,
nobody-
that's a bonus.
Nobody
you know
has to
what
go
I
at
mean?
anyone that plays a game on Deal or No Deal.
Okay. Let's put a little example out there, you know. Millie and Scott, favourite boy, favourite girl. She's dumped Charlie. And all of a sudden, Millie is realising that actually I fancy Scott, the favourite boy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
We literally predicted this as
We
she
did.
dumped Charlie. Or no, not even before she dumped
Way
Charlie.
before.
When they said favourite boy and favourite girl, Millie and Scott, we were like, right, there's the next couple there.
there is the next couple. And like, obviously we did see Scott speak about it and he said, look, I've got a really good thing going on with Leanne. It's going to take really big chats for Millie to turn my head. But again, they both know they are favourite boys and girls. So if we are favourite boy and favourite girl, we get together, winners.
Yeah.
Why would that not work?
No, but then because does Scott, because he's got a good thing with Leanne,
Yeah.
and he was voted like favourite boy for a reason. Then
Exactly.
he messes Leanne up. He's not going to be favourite
He's
boy.
not going to be favourite boy if he messes Leanne up. Touching on Leanne and Scott, let's say Millie does make a move for Scott. Where does this leave Leanne? Is it going to be a triangle, or do you think she's going to try and get to know somebody else?
I think it'll be a triangle rather than a square. I think there's nobody else in there for Leanne at present.
Yeah.
Like, we've got obviously going to have bombshells coming in the whole series, so we don't know who's coming in. But I think from that chat last night and Kieran going up and being like,
My God.
you know, I feel like he knew that he should say it because they'd be good together. But also, I knew that he was like, because he's just a nice boy. He was very like, you know, yeah, so I was chatting to Millie and she does like you. But I know you've got a really good thing with Leanne. And, you know, just after they come back from a date and sort of said that nobody else is where they are. And it's just hard.
Yeah, it's hard. But then also, before that, when they were on the date, Kieran and Sammy, they were giving it the large to me. Like, you got to put yourself first. Just go for it. Just pull him for a chat. So it is a tough one.
And they'll be the ones going to Leanne. Oh, don't worry.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Scott really likes you. He's all...
No, but the thing is, this is like cropped up a few times now. Like
Yeah.
they've said, like, "Oh, go shoot your shot or whatever." Like you've got to keep your options open. Like that's what Charlie and Shaq are doing, but they get flack for it. I'm sorry.
yeah.
I know Charlie did it in a rubbish way.
Yeah.
But like they're all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like you're saying the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You're just not doing it as
Yeah.
harshly.
I think it's literally the same situation with Jess. Like, Millie now knows there is a very strong thing here with
Yeah.
Leanne and Scott. So she has to be very careful how she goes around, you know, speaking to Scott. Otherwise, she's just going to look a little bit like a hypocrite.
I don't think Leanne would let it get into a triangle. I think she'd
No.
just cut ties with
Yeah,
Scott.
I
don't
agree.
think she'd like to be an option.
No. And she doesn't deserve to be one.
One thing that's interesting, though, is, you know, Millie has been messed around by Charlie for the last sort of 2-3 days. And if she liked Scott that much, why hasn't she made a move before?
Right. And that rings bells to favourite boy and favourite girl.
Yeah.
If Scott wasn't the favourite boy, would you still be maybe trying to speak to him?
It's like you said, it all depends on the situation.
Very
And they've been put
situational.
in that situation.
Yeah.
Now we'll see.
She did really like Charlie.
Yeah.
As she said, though, the universe was telling her not to go there because they never slept in a bed together, because every time they coupled up, something happened.
Yeah, there was a lot of signs in that situation, to be honest.
But maybe she didn't want to upset Charlie, or maybe because of what he'd done with Jess, she wanted to sort of have the moral high ground
Yeah.
and not do the same as what he'd
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, I mean,
but
you-
now he's gone, she can get away with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and he was making her look a bit stupid. It's a little bit of revenge as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, Millie and Scott did have chat at the beginning of the week, but then it sort of like fizzled out. And I think after he picked Leanne,
Yeah.
that was sort of like, right, those two are done now. She's going to go to Charlie, and Leanne and Scott are going to be together. What do you think?
Do you know what? I do kind of get where Millie is coming from, because like I take it back to, you know, when I was on the show ages ago. Like, there is situations where you might fancy someone, but you see that they're in a serious couple, so you just want to let them do their thing and you don't want to step on anyone's toes. So maybe that's what it is. And now that, like, you know, Charlie's out of the way, it's kind of like a clear entrance for Millie. So I think maybe she just didn't want to like get involved because they did seem really into each other. But like Kieran was saying to her, you've got to put yourself first. If you fancy someone, you've got to go for it. And if it's meant to be, I'm sure Leanne will understand, and I'm sure Scott will understand, you know? So I get it a little bit. Should we get into last night's fallout? I mean,
Yeah.
specifically between Shaq and Whitney. So everyone was around the fire pit, having a little game of Never Have I Ever in true Love Island style.
Organised by holiday rep Jess.
Yeah.
She was like in 1830s in Zante. Like, everyone get your drinks and come to the fire pit.
It was
gonna-
very club vibes.
Yeah.
But what was the cause of this? Like, how did Shaq and Whitney get so in deep? It started off a little bit light.
So I think it started with Whitney actually, so when they were talking about never have I, obviously we had all the tick list of things that never had a threesome, never have I
this is
ever.
so boring. Yeah, we get it.
And then I felt like it started to take a bit of a mean turn when it was like, never have I ever been in bed with someone I didn't want to be in bed
It's like,
with.
that's a bit
Like,
mean.
never have I ever been in a couple with someone I didn't want to be in a couple with. And they're also, and it's a bit like, oh, okay, this is a bit mean. And then when they did the never have I ever forgotten someone's name in the villa, so they drank, and then Jess was going, Whitney,
Yeah, I didn't
elaborate,
like that.
elaborate. And I
Yeah.
think Whitney wasn't bothered about like sort of embarrassing herself. It was quite embarrassing for Connor, and she didn't
Yeah.
want Connor to be embarrassed.
I agree.
And none of them would just let it go, and they just
Yeah.
kept going and going and going. And she was a bit like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. And I think that was her protecting Connor,
100%.
which was such a lovely thing to do.
I think it was really nice of her.
What I don't understand is Jess has just been in the bottom three and then she's pulling stuff like that.
Yeah, not the time,
It doesn't really
babe.
make sense. But like,
the
I feel
time.
like Whitney was right in that situation.
Yeah.
But then the Shaq situation, when she got the facts wrong, it did make Shaq look a bit stupid in front of everyone. Like
Yeah.
he's lied about something. Like it was all Belle's decision.
But
So
then-
I understand why Shaq kind of acted how he did. But then he got so high rate over it so quickly. So I don't know if something else has happened.
Yeah.
What I liked about that situation, like Whitney can do no wrong for me around that fire pit tonight.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
sorry.
she ate that fire
She
pit
was
up,
amazing
personally.
because when she said, you know, it was Belle's decision that you didn't kiss her, and he said, well, how do you know that? She didn't want to then throw Belle under the
Yes,
bus
so she
and
didn't
say,
say anything.
well, Belle told me.
She waited
Yeah, but the
She will.
conversation's already happening, and the only people know is Shaq and Belle. So it's obviously come from Belle.
But also, the thing is, the difference between that is like Shaq was like, it was our decision, but he's unaware that Whitney and Belle had a conversation before they went in there. So like Whitney and Belle had their own conversation, Shaq and Belle had their own conversation, but it's not Whitney's place to tell Shaq what Bella said. So obviously when Whitney said it, it was kind of like she was waiting for Belle to be like, well, I'm not gonna like speak for you. You can either tell him or we can put it to bed.
Yeah.
You know what
know?
Belle should have done? She should have kept Whitney in the loop.
Hey.
Should have come out and said we had.
But she did kind of.
So basically, it's
I
all
think-
Belle's fault.
Yeah, but
No,
you know what? Belle
because
was playing
everyone's
both
keeping
sides.
everyone in the loop.
Yeah.
So that needs to be extended to friendships too.
Belle was defo playing both sides because she did mention, she was like, yeah, me and Shaq did this, but also Shaq, me and Whitney did have a chat before I went in there and I did say that I don't want to kiss you. So I didn't think that was like a big of a deal, but it was the way Shaq was getting so defensive as if like,
He
it's
got high rate really
yeah,
fast.
it's like almost as if it's impossible for Belle to be like, she doesn't want to kiss him.
Yeah.
You know, like Belle is allowed to be like, hey, I don't want to kiss you. It's not,
Yeah.
the ball's not in his court all the time. So,
And then obviously the third sort of conversation where it all kicked off was where they were talking about AJ, which again, like I understand they're trying to do a bit of drama and stuff on the fire pit or trying to egg each other on. But again, saying, never have I ever wished someone else went home last night.
It's
I know,
so
it is
sad.
a bit
It's like a
mad.
day to go home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it was just
so,
getting
like,
worse
so
and
mean.
worse every question.
And when they were talking about AJ, it's like she's just been dumped.
Yeah.
After like 3 days. She's been
can't
in a
defend
triangle the
herself.
whole time. She's not there to defend herself. She's going to sit at home and watch this.
Yeah.
And they're all like, well, yeah, I thought it was easy because then you've got the ick from AJ. And again, Whitney was trying to be like,
Protect
can we
her.
stop talking about this now?
Yeah. 100%.
I'd back Whitney in that sense.
Yeah, 100%. And
So
I think
2-1.
Yeah. And I think also with the whole, I was actually quite taken aback because we did know Shaq did say that he felt a little bit uncomfortable because, you know, the vibe of AJ was getting too sexual and he didn't want it to move too fast. But correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember Shaq saying he got the
Yeah,
ick.
he didn't say
No.
the ick. Did,
Like, to
Scott,
say-
did Scott mention ick?
Yes.
It was Scott.
No, it was
Scott.
Scott.
It was Scott.
said that Shaq got the ick. But for me, like, what you say is very important. Like, we did know
Yeah.
Shaq said he felt uncomfortable. But to then throw in there that he got the ick,
Yeah.
that is a little far.
No, but
because
Scott
that's not
did
what he
this
said.
before with Charlie and got some wording wrong, which made
Yeah.
it sound worse than it was.
And I
And
think
now he's done
that's
it
what
again.
I think that's what kind of ticked Whitney off because it was
Yeah.
like, okay, you said you're uncomfortable, but to say that you got the ick from her and she's not here and we're not aware of that.
And at that point,
it's a
she already had a
little-
backup as well. So it just
Yeah.
made it 10 times worse.
It was just a little...
At least, I think the only saving grace of AJ watching it this way is that she'll be able to see that he didn't actually say that.
Yeah.
And whereas if
Yeah.
she'd been in the villa and someone said, oh yeah, Shaq says that you've given him the ick.
Yeah.
There's no way of knowing
Yeah.
whether
There's
he
no way
said it
of
or not. At
knowing.
least she'll know. He never said that, AJ.
No, definitely. But again, Shaq shouldn't even agree. Like, he was agreeing with Scott, like, yeah, I did get the ick. And I'm like, hold on, you didn't say that. Why are
No.
you agreeing? It's because AJ wasn't there to defend herself.
Yeah.
This girl code, I love it.
Justice for AJ! Look, so we've realised that Shaq has this whole kind of vibe about, you know, not getting involved in people's business and everyone just minding their own. And we did see last night he got a little bit annoyed and heated when everyone was talking about AJ. So do you think he's finally starting to, you know, realise what it feels like that, you know, when people are in your business, this is the Love Island villa, you're in a house full of all your mates and getting involved in people's business is actually just a part of the game.
I'm not being funny, but Love Island would be pretty fucking boring if no one got
Right?
involved in
Yeah.
anyone's business. Like, we won't be watching anything. It'd just be a bunch of couples
Yeah.
not saying anything.
Yeah,
So I feel like that's the whole point of it. He just needs to get over it.
I think with Shaq, he's always been the one that's come over to like diffuse a situation, being like the knight in shining armor, being like, guys, I think we should all mind our
Yeah.
own business. But when it's about you
You
can't
don't
be like,
it.
guys, like we all just need to stay out of each other's business.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, well, you would say that because
Yeah.
we're talking about you.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like that. Do you remember in his season? I can't remember. There was a situation. I can't remember what boy it was that he called out for like not washing the dishes. Who was it?
Comment down below if you
Comment
remember
down
who
below.
it was.
There was a
please.
situation in Shaq's season and he was having a bit of go with someone. He was in the kitchen and he was kicking off at one of the boys for not coming over to help in the kitchen.
Right.
So like Shaq has always been like a man of authority to be like, you can't do this, you can't do that. Be
Yeah.
a team, you know, get involved, help everyone out. But now the tables have turned and people want to tell you about yourself. He doesn't like it.
Yeah, I think that calm presence is kind of fading
It's
a little.
fading.
It's fading.
It is fading. He is a fire sign. He's an Aries, you know? Fire is coming out.
Yeah, it's coming.
We saw in the preview for tonight's episode that the row is far from over
Yeah.
and everyone is now involved.
Yeah.
There was tears. There was Whitney going, slander, slander, slander. And I can't wait to hear what the slander
Yeah, I'm very
about.
happy about this, by the way.
yeah.
Can't wait.
So I'm really looking forward to tonight's episode.
Tonight is obviously going to be a lot of drama. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all unfolds.
Very excited.
That's it for this morning. We'll be back for tomorrow with all the lowdown on tonight's episode. I think it's going to be a fiery one. Alex, you coming back?
I'm coming back.
Yay.
Amazing.
Don't forget to get involved in the podcast. You can leave us a comment. Let us know if you're vibing. And we'll be here again tomorrow morning.
See you then.